A lot of people say that the SAUCONY Endorphin Elite is a great shoe, yet it is not that popular on the start line of many races. So why is this? Let's find out. Hello everybody, my name is Casey Atkinson and I'm an 18-year-old runner who reviews shoes here on YouTube. Today I'm going to be reviewing my current road racing shoe, the SAUCONY Endorphin Elite. This is SAUCONY's premier racing shoe, coming in at $380. They do have another racing option called the Endorphin Pro 4, which is a cheaper option at $340, although it is a slightly safer shoe with less aggressive geometries. But today we are going to be talking about the Endorphin Elite. So first off, we will start off with the specs, then the overview, what my experience was like running in the shoe, and lastly how I've been using the shoe. Starting off with the specs, we have 40mm of stack height in the heel, which is right on the World Athletics legal racing limit, and an 8mm drop giving us 32mm in the forefoot. This shoe comes in at a pretty competitive weight at 206 grams or 7.3 ounces. It's not the lightest super shoe out there, but is also not the heaviest. Onto the overview, we have an engineered mesh upper for majority of the shoe with a knit mesh upper in the heel. This foam is Saucony's Power Run HG, and inside is a carbon plate which is slotted kind of like a fork. This is said to be designed to work better with the foam. Saucony uses their speed roll technology, which is designed to roll you off your toes onto your next stride better. And as you can see, this is very aggressive on the Endorphin Elite with a very aggressive toe spring as well. So how was my experience like running in the Endorphin Elite? And currently this is my only super shoe, so I do all of my racing in it. And yes, it is a very good shoe. The main thing I love about this shoe is the speed roll technology, which helps me flow through my stride very nicely. It supports my legs and mechanics right throughout the race, even at the end when I'm really tired. This is the most aggressive rocker I've ever felt on a running shoe, and I like it, although this is not for everyone. If you do not like an aggressive super shoe or have not owned a super shoe before, this is not the shoe for you. This shoe has a high carbon plate design, which is basically where the carbon fiber plate is very close to your foot in the heel and stays close to your foot right through to the forefoot. This plate design is also found in shoes like the Asics Metaspeed Sky Paris or the Nike Alpha Fly 3. This plate positioning helps with a really poppy feeling off the toes and promotes a longer stride. So the mechanical advantage that I get from the shoe is my favorite feature, and I feel that my stride stays good throughout races even when it gets to the end. The foam is very firm and responsive, and I've only used it up to 10k races, although there is definitely enough cushioning here for a marathon. Aside from the ride of the shoe, which is extremely good, the other components let the shoe down a little bit. In terms of the upper, it is a bit roomy for my liking, and it doesn't give that snug lockdown fit that I'm after in a racing shoe. The singular pad in the knitted heel is also a bit interesting. It sits directly on the Achilles, and although it works, I don't like it that much. I would much rather have a more standard heel counter, which is in other racing shoes, where it either has a pad on either side of the heel or a pad that wraps directly around the heel. Now, the upper doesn't affect the underfoot performance of the shoe, and racing shoe uppers don't really matter that much as long as they're lightweight and breathable, although I'd like to see some tweaks here and there in the future. However, what does affect the performance of the shoe is the outsole. There is an extremely thin layer of rubber on the outsole, which is not a problem because it keeps weight down, but the composition of the rubber is not grippy at all. This is not helped by the rubber practically being smoothed over as well. Now the rubber performs fine in dry conditions, although I have done a couple of races in it in the wet, and the performance of the outsole is very poor in wet conditions, and it is not a nice feeling to have the shoe slip on toe off when you're trying to run fast. Aside from the upper and the outsole, the ride of the midsole is phenomenal, and it has helped me set all my road personal bests. So now we are onto how I've been using the SAUCONY ENDORPHIN Elite, and I've been using it for all of my road racing, and more recently I've been using it for all of my threshold training. It performs really well on these threshold runs, whether that be on the treadmill, on the track, or on the road. In terms of racing, I know that it is designed for marathons, although I've been using it for 5Ks and 10Ks with no issues. So linking back to the start of the video, the SAUCONY ENDORPHIN Elite is a great racing shoe, although it is not that popular. While the shoe is good, it is not perfect and could definitely use some improvements to make it more popular. More importantly, I think it is down to their lack of advertising, and specifically from professional athletes. SAUCONY simply doesn't have enough good pro athletes to get this on the podium of major marathons and therefore recognized. On the podiums of major marathons, all you usually see is Nike, Adidas or Asics, which also translates onto the popularity of brands that you see at your local road race. That was a bit off topic for a shoe review, but that wraps up my full review of the SAUCONY ENDORPHIN Elite. If you like this video, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. Thank you to everyone that made it this far in the video, and I'll see you all in the next one. See ya!